Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. Everywhere. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. And on this one, we're gonna go through all the old crusty brake and suspension and steering components on this car and replace them with new stuff. Definitely gonna put this thing on full blast. Make sure you do it on full blast. Guys, this video is probably one of those let me be the test monkey, you know, let me do it so you don't have to type scenarios. All of this is parts you can find for A-bodies on eBay. So it's China special, tubular arms, rear control arms, springs came from Speedway. And I have this brake system that I think the guy that sells them, his name is Pirate Jack. So sure that's gonna work just fine. And the steering components I did get off of Rock Auto. So that's all quick steer. Familiar with that brand, used them in the past. Have all steering, suspension, 4-wheel disc brake conversion here. I'm at a minimum in this episode gonna redo all the suspension. It's kind of one of those, how long does it take me? Because all the bolts are just in really bad shape. I mean, everything under here is just super rusty and crusty. I've been soaking stuff with PB Blaster. But first thing I'm gonna try and break loose are the upper control arms up here. I have all new hardware. I've went ahead already and broken the shock bolt off there, so that thing snapped. We don't have to worry about it. But really, these upper control arms, if you haven't done them before, there's 2 bolts on each side that come through the subframe. So you need to loosen these, back them out, and I have the suspension up here unloaded. So it's probably gonna wanna spring a little, but hopefully not too bad. I got these, you know, old small block springs completely sagged out as much as they can. But we need to tackle the upper control arms, then we'll work on the lower. I need to disconnect the steering here at the idler arm. Just gonna let it sit here for a while, but the steering at the idler and at the pitman arm. Get that done, then you can take the whole front suspension off really as a unit. Makes it a bit easier. So I'm gonna start breaking these guys loose. Y'all can watch me struggle. And I'm gonna get PB Blaster, map gas, probably a decently long breaker bar eventually. I'm gonna try and hit it with the impact, but we'll see if that actually gets us anywhere. All right, if you're keeping score at home, these guys are 11/16. So I already hit them with the PB Blaster. I'm gonna hit them with the map gas. I'm gonna see if I can get away with not using a backup right now, just because it's gonna be a pain, but we'll see if these guys break loose without a backup. I doubt it. Woo! Didn't see all that grass there. Man, is there a bunch of it? Yes. Yes, there is. That's probably gonna be an ongoing issue. This thing just has debris everywhere. If you guys didn't wanna go through the hassle of breaking all this stuff loose, you could just cut it off. Everything's gonna get deleted on. So, did not need a backup on that. So either it's got just enough bite or it's totally froze in there. Let's hope it's not froze. So much stuff catches on fire. If y'all see anything burning the shop down, let me know. All right, that'll have to be beaten out at a later date. Will these bolts move at all? So you got to remember there is some spring tension on this guy, so Don't be alarmed. There's a real good chance this thing will shoot up some. And don't ever beat on your bolts like this if you're planning on reusing. Threads will totally be ruined. I'm grab an actual punch here. Don't want to ruin any of my screwdrivers. So this thing's wanting to move. You can tell. Now I'm gonna try beat her out from the other side here, where maybe my tool won't get caught up. Might have to actually get a chisel. There we go. And she's unloaded. See, just like that. I mean, it's definitely got a little bit of pressure on it, but you're able to do this. Just keep everything attached. We'll hit the lower control arms from the bottom when we get this thing up in the air. We got to tackle now the driver's side. Hopefully this side's just as easy. One off. Go ahead and heat up number 2. Oh, the bolt is spinning on this guy. So, grab something to put as a backup on this thing, see if I can get it broke loose. All right, get me a 3/8. A little shallow socket with a swivel head on it. Got it right off. Go ahead and get our bolts out. I don't know where that one went. It shot out of there. So did that one. Awesome. Didn't need the punch. All right, let's get the car up in the air. Head underneath. Start getting lower control arms out. We'll need to cut the brake lines. I mean, there's nothing really getting reused. This is, you're kind of starting with like a bare cross member, and that's it. So let's get her up, start pulling everything apart. All right, I've crawled under here to get these front A-arm bolts. So, or the lower control arm bolts. So the front one, we got the nut and the threads facing this side. It's the opposite on the other. Probably a good indication somebody's been in here. I'm gonna heat these guys up again. Just trying to give our impact the best chance of success. It's not the strongest, but it does pretty well. And I did drop the sway bar and the steering down just so I got a little bit more room here. I do have a backup on. Man, I'll take it. I feel like we've been getting real lucky on these bolts so far, but that map gas does a pretty good job. Go ahead and switch over to the other side here. Oh, definitely gonna take this guy from the other direction here. Just same thing as before. Shoot a little heat on them. That seems toasty enough. Oh, don't have my socket. There it is. Man, they weren't doing me any favors right here. I'm not gonna be able to get in. You have to put the backup on this side. All right. Not enough room, hit it from the front. Come on, break loose. All right. Don't want to back that guy all the way out yet. So we got our front 2 loose. Let's reposition the camera and we'll move on to the back 2. All right, so our back ones both facing the same way. That's good. Maybe somebody put some control arm bushings on this thing at one point. I don't know. I mean, they parked it after 10 years, so who knows. Well, the brake line on the driver's side's already cut. The car saved me a little bit of time. Well, I'm not gonna be able to get my impact in there. Let me grab my 1/2 inch. All right. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, that's loosened. Just making sure there. Man, I'm gonna have to get some sort of cheater here. Slide that guy on. Whew. Man, this back one wasn't playing around. It's gonna slide my cheat. Man, I don't know if that's my wrench or the bolt, but the bolt is moving. It's gonna slide my, man. It's gonna slide my back up around till it kind of locks in place there. All right, bolt is turning. And this poor ratchet is just hanging on by a thread. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab another one. This guy's got nothing left in the tank. Maybe. It ain't happy about it. Yeah. Wow. This poor guy. It's done. All right. I'll grab another one. Man, I just want y'all to hear that. Oh, man. This is why you don't let stuff sit for 40 years. Wow. I'm gonna keep wrenching on it. Hopefully it'll come out soon. All right, got that bolt. I'd say relatively free. Control arm's definitely drooping as you go. Probably gonna have to pry on that guy to get her out, but you could probably take your socket, back this thing out to where it's all the way out. Let's spin around and see if we can work on the driver's side. Heat this guy up. All right, that ought to be enough. Get our backup on. Grab my giant breaker bar here. All right. This guy wasn't as bad. I say that. Now he should be loosening now. The backup finally caught. Ain't a whole lot of stroke here under the car. There we go. All right, well, I'm gonna work on this. Promise I'll eventually get this bolt out. Now I'm just gonna sit here and turn this thing till she backs out. And we'll have at least one of the rear bolts out. I'm gonna go try and punch the front one out from the front. Oh, got that one out with a little pry bar action and the hammer. Just kind of got under it, pried, beat on it. So you can see like it dropped down a little bit, but not a ton. This thing's not under just a insane amount of force. So I'm gonna go ahead, do the same thing to the passenger side, get the back bolt out, then we'll flip the camera around to the front. We'll pull those bolts out and see if we can wheel this suspension out. Well, while I'm back here, I might try and just remove this front bolt. All right, grab the bead on it some from the front. I think I can get her out. She's right on the edge. There we go. Got her down. So, just got one more bolt. Man, the bushings aren't even that bad in these control arms. You probably could have run those. They're both good, but just everything's so shot and rusty, I wouldn't take the chance with it. So this guy up front, it's poking out pretty good. Hopefully, get it to just come on out on its own. I mean it. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to hammer on this guy a little bit. Not the greatest angles in here. Not gonna lie. Huh. Not budging. All right, I'm gonna beat on this thing some from the back. Finally, I think I got it pried out enough where it'll back out. Definitely safety squinting on that one. All right, so we are down to no bolts holding the suspension on. I need to cut one brake line and we should be able to lift this thing up, wheel everything out of the way. All right, I'm gonna try and lift the car up here, see if I can pry the lower suspension out that's kind of caught. Might have to do the upper first. This is probably gonna take some hammering. Going down. Let me get the camera up in here so you guys can see everything. Oh, gonna pry the last little bit of our upper control arm off. That's off. Take care of the driver's side. And then unless the lower control arms are wedged in there real bad, everything should fall out. We'll see. All right, just trying to get the best angle to pry up on these guys. Not the easiest. Working around the steering shaft here. Come on. We're almost there. I think maybe I lowered the car down a little, raising it up might have put it a little bit more of a bind. Let's see. Did that take any stress? Maybe a little. This thing's super wedged in now. All right, we are free. Now, theoretically, everything should come out. We'll see. All right, so our sticking point here is just this lower control arm. I'm gonna pry on this guy for a little bit over here. Should get it cleared. And then we'll have enough room to kind of swing that way, pull that lower control arm clear. That was my elbow. And we should be fine. Let me get to prying on this a bit, and we'll start rolling this thing forward. Oh yeah, she's moving. Nothing's easy. Almost out. We're getting there. Nice, just gave a little gentle tug on the bottom of the tire there. Everything broke loose. Spring is still way up in that pocket. Man, that might, probably not gonna be able to get everything out without doing something with that spring. Dang. Oh, no, it's gonna come. It's gonna come out of there. Maybe. Might have to cut it. So I definitely really don't need to save it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull on this guy some too. See if I can get it out. Oh, it's gonna need the prying action too. Oh, not the little sledgehammer action wouldn't fix. And we're free. I'm about to lower this thing down so I can wheel everything out from under it, and I'll probably raise the car too, just so got a little bit more room. All right, we got some height on her now. Might ought to just clear a little bit of a path. Definitely doing a little cleanup before I start putting my new parts on. I like to kind of do that in steps. Take my wheel stop off there. And we should be good enough where we can pull this guy out the front. It might be easier said than done. The only thing I am reusing at this point, sway bar. At least right now, I haven't bought a new sway bar. Wow. What junk. It is so rusty. So how many times in your projects do you see a coil spring rusted in two? I mean, this is super thick metal, just rusted in two. So let's clean up our work surfaces and wheel this guy outside. I'll raise the lift, shoot it outside. Go ahead and bring the front end down while we're at it because it's kind of scary high right now. Don't want it to just take off like a rocket ship and get just kind of a clean, bare surface. I'm gonna wipe down some stuff in here. Nothing's getting painted yet. This is, I call this like preliminary. We're just putting the car together. Eventually, we'll go through another step of kind of taking the car one step further. But right now, I need this thing to roll and stop. That's it. And steer. Then we're good. We can think about other things further down the road. But let me get this junk outside. And man, upper ball joint was smoked. Lower ball joint's hardly even there on this side. And the control arms are super rusty, but somehow the bushings look like they're all still good. I don't get it. All right, we're moving along. Don't mind me, just vacuuming out my frame. Totally normal thing to do. Totally normal. All right, let's start fitting our eBay China tubular control arms. It's these guys. I'm gonna let everybody know, I did run a bead of electrical tape around the copper bushings or the bronze bushings, whatever you want to call them, that run through the polyurethane. Just a little too rattly. They didn't seat really tight. Like I'm kind of used to bushings like that almost having to be pressed in. They were flopping around, so I went ahead, ran like 2 layers of electrical tape, tightened it up. We'll see how these things hold up. I mean, can't be any worse than what they, what was in them. But yeah, I don't know. But these guys go in just how the old ones came out. Hopefully they fit. All new hardware, of course. There's no way I was gonna reuse what was in here. Although some of it's not in that bad a shape. Not really worth the headache. Got the front one started. I don't think there's really any rhyme or reason to have the bolt or the thread going one way. All right. I would say, before we tighten this guy in, smoke it down, I'm gonna grease these polyurethane bushings, because grease fittings in a spot that's not really accessible unless you essentially have the entire suspension apart, or like one of those real tight 90-degree pop-on grease fittings. And I don't think I have one of those, but I have a normal one I can just pop on and grease this thing right now. All right, so I'm gonna hang upper control arm here. Got the lower one installed. Got the spring compressed. And hopefully it'll just slide right in. These are big block springs that I'm putting back in this car. And they are long. They are long and have a ton of tension. So we'll see how everything goes with that. Definitely a little wiggly there. Let's see how this thing tightens up as we put some tension on it. Might have to figure out something about that. I'm just slowly checking fitment on all these eBay parts. Want to make sure that you're not getting suspension noise because something just has, way too much slack in it. All right, let me grab my tools to get everything tightened down, and then I'll just play with that, see if that tightens it up. All right, got my backup on. Hopefully it'll ride. Got to kind of come from underneath here. Pivot your control arm out of the way. Get your fingers out before it gets real tight. I think we got sucked all the way through there. Am I ever? Oh, yeah, I think I can get it off. Oh, yeah. She's tight. One more bolt. Then we got an upper control arm mounted. I want to tighten this other guy up, see how it feels. Do we have any slack or anything? Kind of bounciness, essentially. and then we'll keep moving on with the spring, get it hung. All right, just kind of checking side to side play here. I got everything greased up. Just don't want to hear any noises at this point. I'm pulling on these control arms, going back and forth, just checking for any egregious looseness at this point. I mean, the ultimate test would be putting the car down on the ground, hitting some bumps, things like that. But at this point, when you're just assembling, you don't want anything really loose. So pass this test. All right, down here with the highly compressed big block coil spring. And then I got the spindle here, so hopefully we can get that guy up in there enough to where we can get the spindle mounted on the lower and the upper ball joint, get some nuts on them, and tighten them up just a hair. Then we can release spring pressure. I got a feeling I might be wrestling with this for a minute. The compressor, this thing has high angle coils, so it kind of compresses the spring at an angle, but it seems to be kind of working for me right now. I think I'm okay with it. The goal is to be able to remove the tool at the end too, so that's always fun also. And you do have a groove at the top and a groove at the bottom to load these coils into. So you need to take your light and go in and verify you're riding in the groove on both sides. And I'd say we're there. Our spring compressor's hitting the cup just a hair, and we are a very, very, very long ways away from being able to get this guy in here. We're gonna have to compress this thing a lot. Look, I mean, that's Evel Knievel in the Snake River Canyon right there. Good Lord. I can try and bolt or strap the subframe down to the jack and use the jack to press on the bottom of the spring cup here. That's a possibility, but I mean, we're kind of run into at what point is it going to want to overcome the jack? I don't know. Let me ponder on this. Let's suck her down a little more. Come on. Whew. It's getting terrifying. Don't even put my hand on it. Wow. She's been pulled down quite a bit. Now, will the bolt actually go up through the center? Because that will keep us from being able to place the... Yep. Let's just keep turning on it. Face away. Man, kind of at this point is just bending it in a curve. We're probably, man, we're still way far off. Even if I remove the bump stop, that ain't gonna give us a whole lot of room. I think I am probably gonna have to jack on this to just try and press it up a hair bit more. Ooh. the bolt go? I had it like lined perfect up with this hole. There we go. All right. So I got the jack. Starting to press the spring a little. Got the thread of the bolt. Whew. Think that might have been it. We need a little bit more. Please. No. We're still fighting it. Is it lifting the car? Yes. And I've got literally tiny little thread that I can try and catch. Woo! I think we survived the danger zone. I'm gonna try strap the cross member to the jack, kind of create a press a little bit, and just see if I can get a hair bit more of this ball joint down in there. So I don't like having just that little bit of threads and trying to use that as a press. Might have just stretched our straps. Yeah, I don't think we got much out of that. Well, and we got our bolt on. We got, for what it looks like, oh, where's the spring pocket at? Is it mashed down in there that hard? Yes. It's in the pocket down there. I'm gonna go ahead, grab a wrench, tighten these guys up, and then release the tension on our old spring bomb here. Don't do any of this at home, folks. Don't. Well, I'm tightening everything down, and I notice on our upper ball joint, we do have decently sizable gap. And I just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing something. So I looked at the other ones I don't have installed. And these guys, this is as far on as they will go. I'm used to ball joints seating on a whole lot more than that, like all the way to the grease cap. This is it for these, at least how these are in this configuration. I'm gonna get the bottom torqued down and we can move on to the other side. Oh, well, after totally getting everything together and realize the ball joints are hand tight, got those tightened down, but man, when I hold the one that says R up, wouldn't you know, like the bump stop lines up perfectly with the spot in the frame where the bump stop's supposed to be. And right now our bump stop's kind of hitting, I don't know, just somewhere randomly on the frame. The arm's hitting here on the metal. And I think they got these labeled wrong, but I've ran into this with China stuff lots of times where they get the R's and the L's and everything mixed up. Is it possible for me to have enough pressure on this thing to not have to redo the spring? I don't know. I'm gonna have to put the jack under it, use the weight of the car, straps, and then just delicately try switch this control arm over. But they totally hosed me on this one, I'm pretty sure. Because this the control arm, like the lower here, the spindle, it puts it straight up. I mean, there's just things that look better with this one installed. But I don't know. I'm gonna Google on it for a second, but I think they got these labeled incorrectly. Told you I'd be the test monkey for you. Let me do it so you don't have to. When you switch the arms around, bump stops actually do line up where they're supposed to go. That's what I get for blind faith. Someone packing something from the Far East. That's what I get. So hopefully I ain't got to wrestle with this thing a whole lot trying to get the spring back in, because I got the weight of the car and then a strap holding it in place. Just please, God, don't kill me. That's what it's saying. So let me get the upper control arm installed for the second time on the same side. And I mean, I almost want to blame myself, so I should have paid attention, but I've never done a tubular control arm setup like this, and there was no bump stop present. It was gone. So I didn't think about it. It just wasn't in my head, and now it totally makes sense, because where the bump stop is on this, now it lines up perfect. So unless I run into something later down the road that for some reason this thing needs to be that way, I think I probably got it right now. So let me tighten everything back up. We'll look at it when we got it finished. All right, now that we got our left and rights figured out, we gotta start bolting all these brackets and shields and everything up. So this gold looking guy goes behind your dust shield. You're just gonna kind of line up everything. You got one giant bolt that's already in the spindle. You can get that going. Probably at least help kind of hold things in place. These are labeled left and right, so your guess is as good as mine. And then I got my steering arm back here. So this guy here is the driver one. At least I believe so. There's a long bolt and a short bolt. And I believe your long bolt goes in the front, but I'm sure we'll find out as time goes on if that's correct or not. But there's a lot more meat up here than there is back here on your bracket, so I'm assuming that's why you got one long, one short. So that's all kind of where she needs to be. Ta-da. This thing is incredibly hard to turn. I don't know if I need to back the ball joint nuts off a hair and just see. I don't know. See if I can actually torque them, but these big block springs are just under an extreme amount of stress right here. I mean, we're sucked all the way down up against the shock tower, or I guess that's what you call it, coil spring retainer there. And I mean, I can take a little bit off the spring, or like off the arms, by jacking up under the spring. But yeah, this thing, she's tight. Super tight. I didn't even know this lower control arm ball joint was greasable. The upper one is not. And I don't know, this thing's got a whole lot. It's got like a finger's width of sealing area that's just hanging out. I don't know. I mean, everything up and down distance-wise looks right, but I don't know. Just doesn't seem right. But we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. Just kind of snug everything up right now. Get all the bolts started, and then we'll hit it pretty good. Oop. Might help if I put the nuts on. Guys are distracting me. Are these bolts different? Okay, that one goes on that one real easy. Maybe. That one goes on super easy. Ooh. The little retainer thing on my impact is gone, so I'm gonna have to figure something better out on it. And I do not have enough space to get my big socket in here. I'm gonna have to try and find maybe like a thin wall chrome one. Well, it's still not the best. Is this not 3/4? Hold on a second. Oh, that's 7/8. I'm gonna grab another socket. Now I got the right one. That bolt definitely protrudes quite a bit. That thing might be getting zipped off there at the end. This guy's not as bad. I'd say this one's closer to correct length. This other guy, she's a little long. Well, I started going through the hardware in the kit, and I think there's actually kind of a better option, shorter bolt for the front here. Kind of doesn't stick it out as much. I'm worried about it contacting the sway bar over here. So I think I will tighten down this shorter guy. And hopefully I don't end up having to cut a grade 8 bolt. That's fun. All right, so now we're kind of to a point, and you can, with a little bit more leverage, you can turn this thing now. I was so concerned, like, just the spindle here, you really can't turn it. I mean, it's super tight. So now we need to throw some grease on our spindle and then work on assembling the rotor here. We need to pack the bearing, put the rear bearing in, or the inner bearing. Just seeing how that guy goes on there. The inner bearing, the wheel seal. We can slide the rotor on, put everything, like our washer, our other bearing, everything else. So, got to start assembling. All right, so we got our inner bearing packed up. We got our wheel seal on, and you want to kind of pay some care getting this guy stabbed on straight, so you don't want to damage your wheel seal just immediately. Think she'll ride like that for a second. Now we got to pack our outer bearing. Do that. We just grab us a handful of grease. I'm sure you guys have seen people pack bearings before. So my rule of thumb is there's no such thing as too much, but there is a such thing as too little. So you want to drag it through until the grease kind of spits out the rollers on the exterior of the bearing. And it's not super easy to tell, but once you kind of do these a few times, you'll get the hang of it, and you'll kind of see, yeah, That bearing looks packed pretty good. So, and this is a tiny bearing, so it's not going to take a whole ton of grease. But I'm of the opinion just kind of go the extra mile for this one. And I'm slowly just kind of rotating it about an eighth turn at a time. Drag it, pack it. And I think we're good now. And get this guy centered on there, pressed in. Try and knock all the grease off so it doesn't get on my brakes. Grab a new set of gloves. All right, so keeping on. You gotta love that China just staring straight at you in your face off your bearing. Right in front. Just reminding you how much money you spent on this. It'll probably work though, won't it, folks? I mean, come on. Did China actually get me on this kit? Well, the brake kit, I believe, is actually, it's from like an American company that I think puts them together using overseas parts. So there's a little bit of, hopefully, there's a little bit of QA, a little QA, QC action going before they just blindly ship it out. So tightening the bearings down here, I like to run these guys tight, essentially, till you can't turn it, and then back it off to your next cotter pin, little hole. So what I'm trying to do is kind of press that inner bearing on a little bit more on the spindle. Just make sure we don't have any slack there. So she's pretty tight. All I like to do is just grab it, sling it around, spin it, and you see it actually loosened up a little bit. So that bearing's probably sliding on the spindle a hair more. It's pretty tight. Oh yeah. Jeez. Oh, needs quite a bit of force to move. And I got my crescent wrench real tight too. All right. Just make sure this thing didn't slacken up. It's still pretty tight. All right, so now I'm gonna back off. I can see my cotter pin hole here. And back this guy off one. What does it feel like? Might still be a little tight. But it's loosening up. Thing you don't want is noise like clanking. Let's try that. No play. I'd call that good. So if you're keeping track at home, we backed it off too. And I probably tightened her a little tighter than I normally do, just to try and seat this thing on. I'm not super thrilled with all the China parts, but if you put them on tight enough, maybe they'll work. All right. Got that guy on. I'll go ahead and tap our dust cap on. Does it fit? I've ran into a few of those lately that dust cap does not work. So It fits. I'll probably just hang the caliper here. Why not? I mean, it's got the spot for it. Let's just put it on. Let's brake clean the rotor here, wipe it off, and get that caliper on. Did have just like the perfect suspension bushing press sleeve there to get that guy on. All right, clean up, get a caliper on. All right, hang our caliper, bleeder up. And they're actually, I saw it somewhere. There's an L somewhere on this thing. Even though that's like optional, I guess. All right. She's getting on there. Oh, pull her around a little. So, front, we're good. Need a little bit of room back here. Slide this guy on. Don't want to press that out. There. Feels like it's going. Maybe just a couple little taps. Well, she popped out. Once the front went on, then it just gave up. Just kind of had to pry on the bracket a little. I mean, it's getting there. All right, I'm gonna keep wrestling with this thing, trying to get it lined up. The bolts are about an inch off from where they need to go. Ah, there was a little lip right here that I was not paying attention to. Now this part's fine. Now this lip looks like it's kind of digging in. I mean, I'll give it, the stuff is tight. There we go. Fell right in where it needed to go. That's a good sign. I'm gonna feed, well, I'm just gonna grease these guys just a hair while I'm here. Don't want your slide pins rusting and getting froze, or they don't slide. And remember, now you got grease on your hands, so don't get it all over your freshly clean brakes. All right, I'm gonna grease these guys up, tighten them down, and then I'm gonna kind of glance and see what else. I'm not running any lines or anything yet. I'm gonna kind of start at the booster, master cylinder, go from there. But we'll probably jump to the back, honestly. And we'll be pulling all the fluid out of that rear diff and seeing what kind of things are floating in there. Who knows? That'll be quite interesting. But go ahead and get this guy tightened down, and I mean, we got disc brakes on the front. I mean, they're probably not great, but can't be any worse than the drum, right? I think. Maybe. All right, well, I'm gonna move on. All right, well, before we start diving in to the brakes and pulling the axles and everything, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the suspension arms while I'm out here. Got all new suspension arms because, boy, these things are all smoked, like insanely bad. And all the bolts, not in much better shape. So, ooh, that's actually kind of terrifying because that's running right up into the hole there that who knows what's, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to set this thing on fire or not. Just give it a glancing blow. Maybe it won't burn the whole car down. Yeah, that's really scared me because that's all just like carpet right there, probably. This isn't gonna be fun. I can already tell. Kinda cannot believe that. Good Lord, so much stuff fell in my ear. All right, well, dig that bolt out of my socket and try and get this bolt pushed through the frame at least enough where I can get this trailing arm down in the front, because you got to have that out to be able to install the new one. All right, my backup here is on a bolt that's essentially disintegrated, so hopefully it's just rusted to the point where it won't move. And that's kind of feels like what's happening. So maybe I'm getting lucky on this one. Oh, it moved. Dang it. I'll just walk it around till it catches on something. I was really hoping that was frozen in place because the bolt is so bad. Might have to devise a different game plan on this one. Yeah. See if I can find something that's a little bit smaller, maybe 12 point, to beat on that bolt. Because she's just spinning now, which is shocking. Can't believe it. Well, I'm gonna give the good Lord's tool a shot at it here. Come on. Catch on something. Oh, it's not a good spot. Oh yes, it's holding. And of course, I got the crappiest ½ inch. My God. I didn't think the threads on this side were that bad. And it's definitely not in great shape. Good Lord. Just flying. Oh, man, I almost need to use my cheater bar, but I can't because I got to hold the vice grips on. Otherwise, this bracket here is gonna roll it off. Maybe let's just map gas it again. Let her cook for a minute. Oh, I had to pull out the death wheel on this guy. Short work. That might be what I have to do for everything, which not ideal. So I think I'm gonna try and do these lowers really like one at a time. That thing's probably really hot because along with torching and twisting, hit it with a Sawzall first, got nowhere. Maybe them Diablo blades ain't as good as they used to be, but got nowhere. The Sawzall, but the cutoff wheel just smoked right through it. But it's not what you want your suspension arms to look like. There's pieces really that are rusted entirely through. So probably a good idea to change these, even though, I mean, the bushings are rock solid, but they're there. Pretty funny. Go ahead and cleaned her up to install the new ones. I'm gonna do the lower ones one at a time, and then I'll probably do the upper ones one at a time. That'll be how I kind of keep everything a little bit square. All right, guys, got the lower installed, torque down. Now I'm gonna have to deal with the upper. So we got a bolt here, bolt up here that I got the wrench on. Not gonna really be able to film under here. It is so tight. I got the jack right behind me, kind of unloading the suspension. Had issues just trying to get this one lined up. I had to ratchet strap it kind of back in place, and I'm hoping kind of unloading it like this, maybe this thing won't move much. I'm gonna get it where the tires just touch the ground. We'll see, and then I can use the jack kind of up and down to line everything back up. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrestle with these guys. Try and press this bushing out also. I'm gonna have to get my press in here. And again, not a lot of room. So we'll see how everything goes. I'll give you guys an update here in a little bit. All right, guys, there's the upper bolted in, and I just used the old control arm as a reference point to measure how long to make it. And I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, I left the bushing in the rear end. It doesn't look horrible. It's not smoked. It actually, I mean, it looks good for this car, but this old 10 bolt, look at how much pinion play we got. So this guy's probably not long for this world, and I'm definitely not gonna take the time while the rear end is in the car to push one of these bushings in. It is not super easy to do with this much room. I got one of those long straight through bolt bushing pullers that I use on like leaf springs, and that's what you'd have to use for this, or you just try and cut it or beat it out. It's staying, it looks fine. We'll send it, and then now I'm gonna tackle the other side. So we got control arms like we do over here on the driver. Then we're gonna dive into this rear end, pull some axles, pull the backing plates, and at least get the disc set up. All right, now that we got everything suspended, let's dive on into this 10 bolt. I'm a little terrified what I'm gonna find. Oh no. Well, that bolt's kind of just disintegrated. Let's put axle bolts on the list of things I gotta buy. Come on now. Let one of them come off. Oh my God, that one just snapped off. I've never in my life seen bolts this tight on an axle. All right, I guess I'm gonna grab the torch, start heating things up. Maybe somebody Loctited these in. Wow, well, that'll be fun getting out of the housing. I guess we're just gonna see how many miles we can get out of this rear end, but I got a feeling she ain't got a whole lot of life. One bolt came out. Keep working my way around. Sure, everyone's gonna get stuck in my sockets, and I'll be lucky if half of them don't break off. Good Lord, how much stuff can fall? One bolt. Let's try, yeah, but let's hit her with the fire. All right, well, two. Keep going around and busting these things off, and hopefully I only got one repair I gotta make, but I know that one's probably gonna take the vice grips or just a cut-off wheel. So that'll be fun. All right, so I went ahead, cut off the other two bottom bolts. No luck with those guys. All right, place your bets. What's inside here? I'm probably gonna have to buy a new cover. Not too surprising, but having to drill out those bolts is gonna suck. That's for sure. Somebody's definitely been in here before because this thing is glued on. Good Lord. I see some fluid and it's not watery. Whoa. I mean, other than being old looking, doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. She still caught the cover a little bit right here on this bolt. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. Everywhere. Huh. Doesn't look too bad. Great. Now let me clean up the floor. Well, if you've never seen one of these guys operate, you can just spin on the pinion and watch your rear end kind of do its work. But you see when we go, let me get it where you might be able to see it. Up here, we got one of the spider gears. And when you check it in kind of your, I don't even know if you call that in play, just your free play. This spider gear is wobbling around pretty good. I'm guessing that's not quite within spec and something needs to be shimmed in here or it's wore out. But the gears don't look like they have a ton of miles on them. This rear end honestly might have been gone through. And what we want to do is turn it so we got real good access to this bolt here and this pin. So we're going to break loose this bolt, pull the pin out, and we can rotate this guy around and get our C-clips out. So we're going to have to slide the axles in and grab those C-clips. It don't look like there's a whole lot of room for it, but once you get this pin out, then you got all kinds of room to slide your axles in. So, and once you get everything out, don't roll on your tires or your axles, anything. Just leave it alone. So you're gonna unsync your spider gears or they could just fall out. And then that's just, it's not hard to put them back in, but it's just a pain. I'm gonna go grab, for some reason I think that's 1/2 inch, and start pulling on that. Hopefully it doesn't break, because that's a bad day. I'll pull that out, pull the pin, we can get going on the axles. All right, had me a little backup here in the teeth. Got that bolt loosened. Try and slide it where I got just a little bit more access for pulling the C-clips. Get my hand in here to press that pin out. Sometimes these guys can be a little sticky. So if you're having some issues, they can be tight occasionally, but luckily, or lately, I've been getting lucky. Last couple of these diffs I've had open to take the pins out, they've almost just fallen out. Some of them you got beat out. At least at the bottom of this thing, I don't see evidence of like a bunch of water intrusion anything like that, we might be okay. Definitely when you're putting this bolt back in, just be easy on it. Don't want to go snapping this guy off. That'll ruin your day. I think all they used was RTV. All right, when can we pull the pin out? Does it have to be down here maybe? Trying to get enough room here. Oh, where I can pull this bolt out. Well, maybe. Maybe you don't have to. This guy, all right, it's just gonna fall out. Can't believe it. There we go. She's out. And again, you don't want to be twisting on your spider gears now, because this is how they move around, kind of get out of place. And I got the wheel off this guy. Might have to actually tap on the axle a little bit. It's not moving super easy. But I'm gonna go just hit it with a hammer, tap her in a couple times, see if we can get that C-clip out. I mean, I see the C-clip. The axle's definitely not in enough for me to pull it yet. Might have to get just a little bit more violent with it. I might hit it with the sledge a little. All right, whacked it with the sledge a couple times. That seems to have gotten her quite a bit further in. Is the C-clip gonna fall out? It's almost out. Now, is it gonna fall to a spot that I can actually get? Okay, she's off. This axle should come out. There we go. Just got to go ahead and do that one more time. Got to retrieve that C-clip. Oh, here we go. I feel it. C-clip. Boom, got it. Go ahead and do the same thing for the passenger side. Then we can move on to getting the backing plates and everything else off. So we're gonna be almost there. So I think probably gonna have to call this project a little bit before I'd like to on this video, but I'm gonna get the backing plate off, at least show you guys how to get new backing plate on, anything else that needs to be bolted up. I still need wheel studs to do the thing right. I don't have them for these axles. And then I'm gonna have to get, you know, probably a new cover for the 10 bolt, and then new bolts, drill out the ones that are in there. That's gonna take some time that I don't have right now. So we're gonna get as far as we can go, then we're probably gonna have to call it. But this is a majority of your four-wheel disc conversion with new control arms and everything else on it. We're using the map gas. Get that guy nice and hot. Ooh. We got a train. If you couldn't hear it, we definitely got one. Oh, I already lost my backup. Be careful putting your backup on again right now. She's gonna be hot. Hopefully we're getting new backing plate bolts, because these guys have seen better days. pretty much everything on this poor car seen better days. Every single bolt gets stuck, every nut, everything. Everything's super rusty. So you got 4 backing plate bolts. You need to go ahead and zip all these guys out, pull the plate off, and mine's real special looking because the drum's still on it because they were froze together. So this is helping me out. All right, so after you blast your 4 bolts off, boom, everything will come off. Throw that on the rusty pile of death there. And this is what you're left with. You're probably gonna wanna clean this axle surface a bit, just so everything goes back on nice. But again, this is a rear end that's probably not gonna get used a lot, so we're not gonna do bearing seal, anything like that. You know, we're waiting until we get a 12 bolt, but this thing might hold up for 100 miles, maybe more, who knows. Apologize for a little bit of the rain there. Kind of rainstorm came out of nowhere. So I'm not 100% sure I'm doing this right yet. This is gonna kind of take some trial and error. There's this little axle flange looking spacer. Then you have your caliper bracket that has a cutout for the axle. There's only one way this guy bolts on. It's behind the flange. You hold it up there. Your caliper bolts up here in these holes. So I'm gonna find the right bolts I need. I think the kit only supplies 3. They want you to put your own bolt in this guy, so whatever, but I think I got it lined up, but I think, you know, the caliper will be on the back over here. On the other side, unless my mind's playing tricks on me, I think the caliper will be on the front, because these things are kind of like mirror images of each other, and when you take the other one over there, I think it's going to be opposite. So I have a caliper on the back side of the wheel and caliper on the front side of the wheel, whatever. It's gonna work. I do want to let you guys know they give you just a giant pack of shims to go with this, and you do have to reuse this one bolt here. I'm trying to find one that's usable, maybe, but that kind of lets me know that we're going to be adjusting on this thing probably quite a bit, but I'm just going to tighten her up as is, no shims, so I can at least see how the kit goes together, and I can just kind of measure from there. You're going to be most likely taking this thing off and on a few times, and what's going to happen, you're going to have your axle in, your rotor on your axle, caliper mounted, to be able to kind of look at everything. And I know this thing, it's not incredibly reassuring because it's kind of wonky on the back. I don't think there's really anything I can do about it. Maybe if I put this guy on the inside, it might help with something. I have no idea. But it's a little wobbly. I guess we'll just tighten it down, see where we kind of go from here. Directions are lacking, just like anything. I mean, any of these kits you buy for super cheap, it's not gonna exactly tell you how to put it on, I can tell you that. But the axle flange kind of feels a little wonky. So I'm interested to see what happens when this thing tightens down. Will it ever hold the caliper straight? Who knows? Just gonna kind of run these guys down. Man, it's definitely not moving around now. It probably tweaked it to where it forced it in place, but hopefully our caliper will still hold on for dear life. Let's see if I can eyeball. Yeah, she'll be hanging in. Kind of just wanted to do this step just to see if I tweaked anything, tightening it down. That's it. Just to make sure the caliper will still bolt up. I don't know. We might be putting shims on the back side of this thing. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know, but that's your caliper held up there. Man, this isn't an awful setup. Just wish I had a little bit more direction. Well, I think this is where I'm gonna call it. I got to have wheel studs on, to put the rotor on, to check axle, to check all the different measurements, and gotta have those. So probably gonna take me a day or two to get them from O'Reilly's, and then I gotta put them on, do everything. So I need to get this video done just so we kind of stay on schedule, and I'll be doing another one here pretty quick, finishing up the rear brakes, running all the lines, putting the master cylinder brake booster on. So that needs to be done. I have, I believe, everything other than what I'm missing for this rear stuff. And it'll be able to at least stop under its own power. And then I have all the steering stuff too. So I'm gonna do steering while I'm doing the brakes and everything else. So hope y'all have enjoyed watching me completely struggle on every single rusty bolt on this old thing. I mean, this thing is chewy, but this is kind of the vibe I wanted for this car. I'm gonna kind of do something just a little bit different and, you know, have this just really ratty muscle car that like everyone's gonna want to look at. Just wait till this thing's done. But I appreciate everybody watching, and if you could take 1 second to just like, comment, subscribe. Any kind of interaction with our channel helps us out a bunch. We're really small, and that, you know, pushes us up in the algorithm with YouTube. So until you see my next video, man, just go out and do something that makes you happy, but make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later.